Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of a Threadlings Filmmaking Production Diary. I am your host, Miguel Ortega, and this is Tran.
Hey everyone.
We're talking about the making of an animated, uh, messed up little short film in Unreal Engine and other programs, but Unreal Engine being the backbone. We did this last year. We made a short film in Unreal, and we documented the whole process. That film is called The Voice in the Hollow, and it won Best of Fest this week at the Los Angeles Animation Festival with Bill Plimpton, which was pretty awesome. So yeah, this is our second go at this, and Tran has really been spearheading this the 3D on this one. And last week, well, I'll let Tran take it from here.
Oh, okay. So I'll touch up on what I've been doing, but I just wanted to do one last thing real quick because I need to save. Um, so I've been changing my schedule, and I don't know, trying to wake up very early or as early as I can. It makes the day so much more productive. I tend to be like a more night owl person, so I was working up until
Like
uh,
6 in the morning.
yeah, but yeah. But I like this morning schedule a bit more, especially when you're running a team. So as far as um, for those who are just joining, um, the environment here, we're all in Unreal, we're doing 3D, and I've been building this set. So it's been really kind of gotten big, but it's gotten smarter along the way, become more efficient. This is like the first section of the set, and it's all being made in Marvelous. So it's like quilted, and you can see like how this is quilted. And again, this is like for those who might just be joining for the first time. So it's a fabric. There are fabric beings living in a fabric world, literally, right? And so all this, most of this stuff is actually being made in Marvelous Designer. We did bring on a team, right? So right now, as far as the texturing of the set, we have a team of 3 people, and they're really doing incredible work here. So I've been doing a lot of like delegating out work and basically doing really boring stuff, and then just making sure that stuff is done so that the work can get spread out. But it's really moved things along very quickly, and the team is like really amazing. So here, like I haven't shown this room in a while properly. There's some big changes. This weird thing is here. It's like a block in. Let me hide it because it doesn't look very good. Um, so some really massive changes for those who might remember or not remember. The floor was really blue before, and there was a lot of blue on the walls, and it was completely untextured. This piece is still not textured, so it's just kind of white or gray or whatever. It doesn't have that much definition, but a lot of stuff is now in. So we have these floors which match the hallway floors. There's still some things I need to do, and this is completely textured now. This piece is done by Sasha, who's an incredible artist. And then we also have this piece that I just brought in today, done by Liz, and she's really killing it.
Can you zoom into it? It looks really, really blurry.
Is it really?
Check your video settings for a second.
Okay.
Like when you let it pause, it looks good, but when you move it, it just looks. I didn't even. I thought you didn't even have textures on it.
Oh, I see. I don't know how does it look right now.
It looks good because you pause it like that. It's just a total
Okay,
mush.
but I gotta get close.
Yeah,
It's not really lit to really appreciate the work. It's kind of dark. Um,
but you gotta like let it sit, or else you literally just don't
yeah,
see
but
it.
it's kind of hard. Like I'm trying to zoom in. This is the thing that's annoying. Like it, you know how like it just stops.
No, I know.
Okay,
Yeah, navigating in this program is a pain in the butt.
it's really bad. Like how do you break that cap? Also, I am experiencing a lot of lag
What's up, Bobby?
on my end. But yeah, so this is some of her work. And again, all the floors are done. And let me just rotate to an angle and then I'll pause. But I'm also chugging. It just started chugging. The scene is really big. It has a lot of pieces. And then we want to add more pieces. So I think at some point, right now this is all one level. We'll end up having to break it into multiple levels, just so that once we bring in more detailed parts, it doesn't become super heavy. But how does it look right now, Miguel?
It looks good. Just it doesn't even matter if you're moving slow. As you're moving, it's just
Blah.
blah.
Yeah.
It has to. It has to.
Yeah. So I'll just hold it once I
Yeah.
get to the angles. But I'm also having trouble rotating. So floors are in. The colors have changed, and I also have added this, which is not textured, but it's allowing a lot of light in. So it was really dark before. So now we have like kind of a center top light, and we're going to keep this one neutral so it doesn't become too colorful. But it was, I guess, a little bit too colorful before, but it feels not so much anymore. I don't know how you feel, Miguel.
I think it looks better. I was getting too worried that it was starting to look like you were inside of a tie dye shirt.
Yeah, it's not anymore though, right? Like,
No,
what do you think of the color now with the textures coming in?
I think it looks good.
Okay, so it's interesting to me because um, it's beigey, which is cool, and then the windows are very like orange and blue, and I just wouldn't have come to this. It just ended up like this, but it's, I guess, maybe in that way a little bit more original. But yeah, so that's some of the stuff that's more complete here, and then we'll move into the hall. Just over here. I feel like I should hide Cot because he looks kind of weird because he's naked. And we'll come out here. And then we also have some more pieces completed now. So Rain has been doing really excellent work. I'll hold it right around here. You can see this piece is done. So a lot of things are getting really, it's almost all done, which is great. There's a couple little parts, tiny parts that are left that are just kind of hanging out. And go ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say, yeah, you could show the parts. Like you can see on the left there, that's one of the pieces that isn't textured yet.
Yeah, so like this part here, that's, you can kind of tell it's just completely white. This side's all done. I mean, well, a lot of it's done, like at least the doors, right? So we have some regular generic doorways, um, just so it looks like they can leave and go somewhere. And then this hall is very close to being done. Now, like before, it was just white. So it's cool. And I call this area the Hall of Halls because it just has hallways for some reason.
Remember, as you're moving, it's just
Yes, I'm
yeah.
trying to get there.
That looks really nice.
Okay, so I'll move over here.
The quilted corridor is what it's called.
Quilted corridor.
Yeah.
And then this is the rotunda.
So this is what you were working on last week live. So you started building this thing out.
Yeah, so I, in the video, even before that, I just started blocking out, trying to figure out what to do. So this part that's textured is basically the same piece that's in this arch right here.
Press the hide button on
This.
Yeah, just press that because it's taking up the screen.
I'm just gonna hide my face too because I just think that maybe I need more streaming speed on this, and then it'll go a little bit faster.
It actually did improve it.
Yeah, so let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah, so I had this piece, and what I was doing was I was trying to reuse that section in Maya, and then I ended up blocking up these white areas in. So I did like very simple pieces, and then I had brought it into Marvelous and quilted them. And then the last video that I did, where I was trying to block it out, and I didn't finish, but now you can actually see I finished it after the stream once I stacked this up.
So this is the spot that I think that we could put that statue. So you could put the Zord statue really large there.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Statue of Zord.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of like the idea, but now that I see it like this, I don't know. I just like not something like corny in the middle.
I don't think it would be corny. I think it could look really cool.
You think so?
Hell yeah, because you could have you're saying so much by Cot walking out to get the berries, and he looks at this giant statue, like just overshadowing him. Like he could literally be casting a shadow on Ka.
Okay, I guess that's true. There is some color mismatch here. I'll have to color correct this. So we'll come back to that. I also did block out the floor, trying to reuse the same pieces. It looks cool at the top, but it looks a little bit busy. You know, when I'm looking at it like this. I don't know how you feel, but I'm not gonna redo it. What I was thinking instead is like we have like rugs coming out through the doors in the hall, and then that will break up the floor so that it's just not all these crazy triangles that we're looking at. The other thing I did here, and I have some gaps because I pushed the floor around, was I started constructing like what happens when they get over here, which we don't have any shots planned here, but you just had to block it out.
And this is just like the temp floor.
Yeah. And then you can see it is all kind of closed. It's just like a ring.
There's a statue. Let me see if I could find it.
So if we get some shots or anything, kind of, I don't know, just have stuff to frame. You can see it's not, again, not all blocked out, but we're not supposed to be seeing it the backside like that. And then once I blocked that out, I just duplicated that and have this up here. So you can really travel around this environment, which is kind of cool.
Let me find this one here.
Let's look at this from the top. We will probably have shots like also, but we'll worry about this much later. Like this, probably top shots down. And then once you're out here, like nothing makes any sense. It's just all like stuff that's been shoved in together. You know, but that took some time. But again, pretty glad to be where we're at. Let me just turn around. Again, I know I navigate like crap. And then this is the other area. So, give me 1 second, adjust the lights. So here we also have the stairs done. I don't know if I showed that last time, but I did manage to finish this.
Ruben.Dion just said, I'll be studying these videos for years to come. Thank you so much. So valuable.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have stairs, and this is the part of the floor that I need to trim because it's like poking through, but I'll worry about that later. And this is one of the main character's door.
And an unfinished.
Yeah, unfinished part, which is being worked on right now. So this is good.
So you gave that one to Sasha already, as well as Zort?
Yes,
Both
well, I
of-
just passed her this, but I'll also send her the links to Zort, but it's all been uploaded. So
She does not have Zort yet?
she doesn't have the link yet, but I'll send it to her. It's already good. It took a while to upload. It took a very long, very, very, very long time to upload all those files because I had to give her sample files and stuff like that too. So she just has all the information she needs. Okay, so that's where we're at here. So good progress. The one thing I am doing that's really tedious is I do want to texture these windows because they feel like really flat to me, especially when you get up close to them. You know, it's just like white. And then I did pull up a reference last time. So maybe having like just subtle tints in this. And the way I decided to do it, which is maybe not the smartest way at all, but it's like my way and it works and I don't have to learn anything new, is just I went back to the
You're assigning materials?
Yeah, I went back. No, what I did was I went back here and I literally cut the mesh to fit the grate like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's going to be really easy.
You just assign different materials to it?
Yeah, and I'm just assigning materials. So it's not very
complex.
It's not, no, it's not very exciting. It does need to be cleaned up. I do have like n-gons and stuff like that. But I just wanted to see, right? And then I could use these material assignments inside of Substance to kind of just, maybe it will work right away. Just overlay that on top. And I only have like the minimal sections that I need. But again, yeah, so I'm just basically going, oh, okay. I'll just grab these polygons that are going to be like a certain color. Again, it's not super exciting, but you know, that's how it goes. Then I just assign that and I go, okay, cool. It's just going to be that color. But I think this is, you know, effective for me. Um, yeah. So it's what we're doing now. I don't know. What do you think, Miguel?
I think it's looking awesome. I think all of it looks really good. I think the thing that I told you, my biggest concern with it at this point is not like I think the bones are amazing, but it's just how do we now make it so that oh, we're in uh, this corridor, we're in that corridor, we're in um, the teacher. Like if this was a real location, how would you not just feel like it's a never-ending maze? Because right now it just feels like
A maze.
well, not just like a maze. It feels like it never ends, which is a testament to how you build it. Like I don't see the ending of the fucking place. It looks like it goes on for eternity. Uh, it's just complete madness. It
Yeah.
like I don't feel the set ending. Whereas on the Voice in the Hollow, you always knew, like, and this is because it's internal, so there's so much that you can hide. But you're like, oh, past this little point, like in Voice on Hollow, there's like a wall there, and you're like, ah, that's where your set ends. Here, it just feels like it goes on for eternity. So how do we make it feel like this is an old, this is this section, this is where the teachers are, this is where, you know, and not changing any of the architectural stuff. It's more like red rugs, red banners. There's
Yeah.
a little sofa area there, so you just kind of feel like you're seeing different things as the shots progress, and it doesn't look like you're running through the same thing over and over, because most of the shots will be tight knowing how we shoot stuff, and then it could just all look like a beige blur. Do
Yeah.
you-
Uh, yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. Um, like the initially, like when I was working on the set, it's like we just have a hallway, I guess. And then
no, now it's like you built Hogwarts basically.
no, first it was a classroom, right?
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, here's a classroom. And I don't know, I didn't even know what the aesthetic was supposed to be. So if any of you guys see like the earlier video, you'd be like, I don't know. You can hear me say, I don't know. I think I say that all the time. Um, and then we kind of figured out the aesthetic, and then we realized that the aesthetic is not very efficient because it's not very modular. And so Miguel was like, okay, well, we'll just do something else then. Let's make it more modular. And then we saw like Hogwarts things. We're like, cool, I guess we'll just make an environment kind of like this. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it feels like it.
Yeah, it's got kind of got kind of crazy, I guess. Um, and then it became modular, but then it, you know, which enabled us to make these really big environments and move much faster.
Netbug says hi talents, and I'm amazed at the progress you guys make every week. Well, thank you, and I wish we were moving faster because we are just really on this one more than anything, just trying to get that script to be completely perfect. And now that we're in that writing program, we get these notes every week, and not every week we get the notes. We get the notes every other week or so, and then we just come back and really refine it and try to get it as good as possible.
Yeah,
And that's been really cool, because well, it's awesome, and it could also, you have to know which notes to take, right? So you have these amazing writers, and they're all giving you notes, and you have to always remember that they might have a very different vision of how your thing is going to play out than how you're imagining it. And they also might have completely different tastes in films. But you have to pick the notes within the notes, right? So um, certain things like clarity issues, that's the stuff that we kind of focus on the most. And every time they point something out, we have to go back in and rewrite all of that stuff. And then sometimes that creates a ripple effect that has to be fixed. But if we didn't have that, I think we'd be moving much faster. Um, we also have a lot of the stuff that we're moving forward with is stuff that isn't necessarily cool for a stream. Like it's like, okay, we are doing corrective shapes for the eyeballs, right? And that's not the most exciting thing.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I mean, what I'm doing right now is not exciting either. You
But it's more
see
but it's
how
more
it works.
relatable. Whereas
Yeah.
like you're doing corrective shapes for spheres, uh, in case that the eyes look a certain way, it's just the most boring stuff that you can imagine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is pretty boring, I guess, but yeah, I see what you mean.
But it's relatable. Like if you're building a model, you're building an environment, you're like, oh, cool, this is how I break it up so that I could apply different materials to it. Everyone wants to do stained glass, you know that. Um, so, but yeah, it's cool. I don't think what you're showing is boring at all.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is literally just working on a window. And that's my, I'm super direct. I would just cut the polygons to be the same. That's my thought. And then I'll just fill in these colors. And if I get these colors really close, they're very pink and pastel, but if I desaturate them, I might just be like completely done. Um, and once I duplicate this, but yeah, I don't know. Did you want to go? What should we do? Should we?
I think you should keep showing what you're showing. I think it's cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm
So right
thinking,
now you're just breaking it up. So you have to, for example, on the bottom there, you have to cut those faces in order to make it go with the shape of the metalwork.
yeah, I already did cut all the faces, which was really tedious. And then now what I'm doing is just giving them different shaders with colors. And then when I bring that into Substance, what will happen is if I bake the mesh maps, it usually will transfer the color with it too, which is pretty cool, right? And then I'll just literally get maps like just like this, which is pretty handy and helpful. The one thing that I am losing is losing track of what's what. Uh, oh no, I broke it. So when it turns green, I lost all of that.
Why?
I don't know. That's just my that's just what happens. Um, yeah, it's kind of frustrating sometimes. I would say like the one thing that is pretty difficult in the workflow compared to how we worked before is that we're building in a way that it's very like good for us inside of Unreal. So all our meshes are really, really high polygons because we have nanite. And it just doesn't have any issues with it at all. But other software doesn't necessarily like work that way, right? So like, Maya, we're still using Maya for this. Maya doesn't handle high polygons very well. And it's still a step that we're not able to like eliminate from our workflow. So it has to go through Maya, like just even assigning things and grouping things and modeling, right? And it's just like this disconnection between two very different types of software and what they can handle. So that just becomes a little bit like tiring sometimes to deal with it. So like just very simple task. I'm not able to do in Unreal. Like I want to just, I know that has new modeling tools, but it's just not the same. You know what I mean? So like when I made these floors, for example, and it was originally just based off like this diamond shape right here. And that was like done through displacements and texturing. So it's like a super heavy polygon shape, and it's all actually has like depth. It's not just a normal map. So you can see there's like a lot of nice detail in there. Um, I wanted to like create modular pieces and cut and do all this stuff, and I just can't do it in Unreal. I know that there's more stuff, but I think maybe I just need more time or more tools need to come out. So I had to do it in Maya, but now when you're trying to cut like a 2 million poly piece and then assemble them,
That's where it becomes a real nightmare, right?
yeah. And so like the other thing I was doing is like you can slice geometry off. Uh, and I was doing it in ZBrush, but when you do it in ZBrush and you actually slice it, it like destroys all your UVs. And then so you lose all the textures on every single piece. So I had to do it in Maya because it preserves the UVs. But man, was it slow. It was so slow. like, and that's like the frustrating thing. It's just, having a workflow that just doesn't work with like how, with what you're trying to do now. Like when I was trying to make this one piece, so this is like a modular piece, and this is really heavy, right? This took me like the whole day just to like paste it together and stuff because it was just slow to cut things up and it crashed all the time. So just like when you just saw me do this thing and Miguel was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I don't know." it just happened. So I just have
You
to
have to save a lot.
yeah, you have to save all the time. And then sometimes if I just like soften edges, right? So I have to soften the normals because the normals that are exported from here are inherited into um, Unreal, right? And then sometimes it just crashes just by pressing like soften normals. So there's all these like things that are, you know, like I could move really fast if it wasn't like this, but it is like that. That's just how it is. Um, but yeah, those are the things that again kind of eat into the time. Whereas I feel like that floor, really, I could have done it. I don't know if things weren't crashing, it should just be done in like an hour. But it takes instead like the entire day, and it's a frustrating day. Um, so because sometimes you just mess up and you forget to save your work, right? Like you see me constantly saving here, and these files. That's the other thing. The file sizes are just getting like really, 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 really massive because when I'm making these Maya files, you just don't want like one version of a file because that's kind of like the dumbest thing you can do. Just like have one version. But because the files are, everything is really dense, you're talking about like gigabytes, right? So like one Substance Painter file is now um, like 12 gigabytes just for one version of something, of anything. And so we're just getting like really huge on hard drive space just from these assets.
Yeah, it's funny. Like at the end of the year, we usually see if there's anything that we can buy to deduct for taxes, and we don't necessarily need hard drives right now, but we're just like, let's just buy a bunch of hard drives because we'll need them eventually.
Yeah, so we're using like a ton of hard drive space, and then you're backing up your data on top of that. Yeah, those are the things. So I know this is not super exciting, but I'll do a little bit more, and then I will try to bring this into Substance. But I guess this is part of how it goes. That is just the process. I'm just randomly trying to like choose things to color now. And I'm trying to, I don't know. I guess these kind of tasks I don't mind because you could like watch something.
Yeah, you can listen to anything, you can watch movies, you could do anything
Yeah.
because it's just like brainless. Where writing, you can't even listen to music.
No. Um, Writing is pretty, it, it takes like everything.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? What?
Yeah, what does that mean? That when you're writing, you can't even listen to music. Uh, but when you're doing this, you could listen to Hell Awaits from Slayer, and it would totally not distract you.
I don't know. I think it's you're not like having to use like all your brain, I guess. That's one. And then the other thing is also like it's depends how used to one task you are, right? Um, like I guess if someone's never done any 3D in their life and you're just like, yeah, just do this, they might be like, I can't just do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, like if you're doing this every day, you just forget like these become easy tasks, but maybe they're not so easy for someone like I don't know. If we just told your mom to do this or something, it would probably not work out very well. And I think with writing, it just we're not as experienced. I mean, we don't like haven't been doing it for like 20 years or whatever. The way we have been doing like 3D, and I think writing is just harder.
I don't think even if we've been writing for 20 years, I'd be able to listen to music and write.
Yeah.
I always felt that doing stained glass is one of those things that I would love to do if I was born in another time and had a bunch of time to waste.
You think so?
I think it would be so much fun, especially now. Like you could get those what do you call it? Those laser cutters that could even cut glass. Can they cut glass? I don't know, but they could cut. You could make all the patterns in CG and then just cut all the pieces and then put them together. It would be so awesome.
To me, the idea of like any like real life task, like cutting wood or like anyone anything like that is just like I don't want to do it.
No, the reality is I wouldn't probably want to do it either, but I like the idea that I would like to do it. Like when I watch those like videos of
The
people
restoration stuff.
restoring like Rolex watches or whatever, you're like, I want to know how to do that, but not really.
I know what you mean because like I when I watch restoration videos too, like it makes you think, hey, maybe I can be I can also do this, but like I know pretty much that I can't, and I don't want to.
Those guys that restore posters or Rolexes and stuff like that, those guys I'm always blown away by. More than anything, the poster guys, because they're like handling these $1,000 posters, which are basically paper. And you're like, how are you doing this so confidently? You mess this up, you are going to tear right through that paper and destroy this thing. Or people that do painting restorations. Um, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I love the painting restoration videos.
they are pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's so much good content. I don't know, interesting content. Like I remember a kid, like there was nothing to watch. What color is this one? Is this Lambert 6? I'm actually lost track. Nope. Lambert 8. Oh, there we are. This one's complete. Yay. And then I need to do these other ones or reuse them. If I have too many colors, I think I would just be confused. I think the way I'll do this, I'll just isolate this and I'll figure out what has what. Just zoom out and then I'll select based on material. And then I can see how much variation of one color exists. I don't want to have too much color variation because I don't think I can actually control it. It will become difficult. So we'll put this as Lambert 2. And then maybe here. I don't even know what this area is. we'll do this one also as Lambert too. Yep. Okay, so this one here, this is, I don't know anymore. This is Lambert 7. We'll make this 7. Maybe this is enough color, like this. I don't know what you think, Miguel.
I think that's nice. You go too much, yeah, it could be overwhelming.
Well, it could
You
also
see
be
that little tiny corner there, right?
what corner? You mean this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what color that is. I don't know what is what anymore.
Oh, I see.
So I don't want to assign it the wrong color.
Just select the whole thing and assign.
Okay. I think maybe that's good. And I just have to like duplicate stuff or UV it really quick. This one doesn't have anything.
Yeah, Bobby. The thing is, like what Tran was saying, these Unreal projects are just so freaking heavy. And any file is like, remember, like the Voice in the Hollow files were like a terabyte. Like
Yeah, they were
that's
really massive.
like, a 4 terabyte. Like, here's the thing about hard drives. Like, I know that the sizes have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, but the speed of transferring hasn't really caught up with the size of these drives. So you get like a 20 terabyte drive. That sounds amazing, but now it takes 5 months to copy the files over to another drive, right? So then I don't see the point in that, because it takes so long to back the whole thing up that then you tend to not do it as often. But now you have 20 terabytes, and if you have a malfunction, you lose 20 terabytes worth of data. That's horrible.
Yeah, it's still just, yeah, you're right. I think it's what you say, like the speed. It's not like, I don't know. I remember way back in the old days where MP3s first came out, right? And then I remember being just trying to download something and I couldn't do it because we didn't have high speed internet. It was like the dial up modem. And then
Yeah,
the files, like one MP3 was like 3 megabytes. And it was just like,
I think forever.
it would take forever. And it was like the biggest file size I've ever, like ever.
5 megabytes.
Yeah, like, oh my God, 5 megabytes is like insane. Um, it's totally not like that
What would happen if we lost the? Well, so okay.
now.
So this is a few things. So we
Okay.
we we are making backups. So that's a good. So we do have backups.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to do, starting in January, is I want to use this service that automatically just is constantly uploading your drive online. And there's a lot of services that do this now, and you just basically pay a monthly or yearly fee per user. So Trent and I would each need to have our own, which is fine. And the initial upload time is astronomical, right? Because you're uploading terabytes. But after a while, especially with Unreal projects, the majority of the data is not that big because the assets are already inside. So now it's just camera data. Now it's just new animation data. Not that that's not heavy as well, but not in the terabyte size. So you can now upload and update it all the time, and it's constantly staying up to date, and it has like crazy redundancy. So if their system goes to hell, they have it backed up 1,000 times. So that's something I think we need to do.
Yeah. I agree. I think I'm just gonna press mesh cleanup and then let it triangulate this crap. Um, oh, I missed a spot right here. I don't know what color this is. Select material, number 8. We did have a scare on the Voice in the Hollow, and we had to get some stuff restored. Do you remember that, Miguel?
It wasn't a scare. It was a fucking terrifying thing. Yeah, it was as bad as it could be. It was a total meltdown.
Yeah. So one
One of
of
the computers started wiping out hard drives.
yeah, I think we talked about in the stream too. We're like,
Yeah.
we're tired. We're super tired. I think that's all we said. We're so tired, and the drives are not working. Um, but it all worked out okay, I guess. But yeah, now that Bobby said it, he's jinxed us.
Damn, Bobby.
As far as how big like Voice in the Hollow stuff got, just the Unreal project file alone was like was practically a terabyte. There's a question here. Hi, is it really important um, for you to remesh even you're not going to animate the asset? Yeah, you don't want like um, n-gons. Like I don't need to have great topology on this because it's really flat. But I don't think n-gons are a good thing at all. You would probably get some kind of mesh error. It also just looks bad. Like your faces will be unstable. So if your face is unstable, your normals be unstable, your lighting gets unstable, right? So triangles and quads. You know, I have tried to do stuff like that. I'm like, who cares? And then all of a sudden you can't like import your files or the lighting looks just messed up. Um, and then I start to realize like, yeah, that's why those rules are there. Let's clean this up. Okay. And then I'll just do UVs. I guess I want to figure out a couple things. How I want to mirror this. It's such a tedious, it seems like an easy task. Let me minimize this here because my computer is going nuts. But it's not really, like I like precision. And when I look at this here, I have to figure out what mirrors over here. So it's like a little bit more tricky than it seems because I like to have everything be correct. So I'm going to set my pivot over here. And then what I'll do is I'll duplicate this, give this a negative transform, and then I'll duplicate this, and we'll do a 180 rotation here. Okay, and then these ones all will be mirrored, which is fine. It kind of gives it a nice pattern. I'll combine this mesh. And normally when you combine, your normals should clean up. So I won't know unless I do this. So if I have mixed up normals, it'll be kind of a mess. So this one's okay. This one's already done. Let's do this one here. I'll center this pivot. Normally when I do like structures like this, I do actually normally have a base of like, it will look something really simple like this, like a plane. And then the plane will be one polygon initially. I'll rotate this straight and I'll place it like around here in the back. And then what I'll do is I'll just snap this to right in the center of the grid. So I always model in the middle. And you do want to like, you know, for those who are interested in modeling, you do actually want to make sure you put everything in the middle because your files will be like dirty and stuff.
David Kwok is gonna jump back in.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
You mean jump back in doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Just during break. So I'm gonna give him to texture the larva.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'll isolate this. Let's hide the grid. And then what I'll do here, just so I have my measurements, is I'll place like these loops like this. And they've just become snapping points. They're like, I don't know. They're like paint by numbers kind of things for me. And that ensures that everything is correct. I'll also slice one this way. And then maybe here, I'll eliminate this so they're not connected here. Because this one, I would want this center to be snapped here. I don't know, it is kind of weird, but. And what I don't know here is the exact space over there. So I think what I did, what I have to find again, because this makes it faster. And it seems so, I don't know, when I'm doing this now and I'm just doing it in front of people, I'm like, why do I do this? I'm making my life kind of hard. But maybe here, this is like half. And so this becomes a halfway point. No, I think this was measured like this out here. I think I might just eyeball this. Let's split this in half. And then this was in half. That's in half. And it's completely off. Okay, that's fine. I'll just snap this here. That's all I need. I don't have these ones up here. Okay. Normally all my stuff is like super planned. But we'll just do this. I'll just snap this semi in the middle. Along here. And I think this is kind of what I mean, like, you know, I can't see myself doing this in Unreal so easy because like I can't see myself like able to like snap to pivots like this. Like I know you can, but not like this, where it's just really precise.
If you need to install plugins in order to snap to vertices, then it's better to stick in Maya.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't want to do these parts here yet. What I want to do is finish mirroring these parts here. Okay. So I'll center these pivots. But you know, this is the process. I wish I was making something cooler, and then it might be more interesting.
That's pretty cool.
Is this cool to you? It's super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's mirrored over. We'll just combine this. This will be one. This is another one. Normally I was making the windows double-sided. I don't think I need to do that anymore, meaning for them to have thickness. The reason why they had thickness was the possibility of like them actually being like glass materials. And you do normally when you're dealing with, and you can cheat this, like they're not absolute rules, but generally refraction works properly based on, you know, based on the thickness of the objects. Okay, that one's done here. All right, so let's duplicate this stuff, or not duplicate yet. I'm just gonna grab these super exciting things and just do cleanup. I'll delete my history. Let's optimize my scene. And I'll save. And then what I'll do now is I'll just have these guys be in one group because they're all over my outline are really messy. Just get rid of this. And then we'll just do UVs. And the UV, I would just do a planar on Z. So it's done. Or not, something weird happened. What is this weird thing? very weird. Let's try merging these vertices. It's acting very strange. Okay, I'm gonna try again. It didn't like it when I tried to do all of them at once, I guess. Okay, now it's working. And I'll just set the textile density. On our projects, so far, our textile density has been like, based on our scale, like around 4. But we'll see how big it makes that. So I use this tool a lot just to make sure things are consistent. It looks like 4 might be too big for this top one. Just lay these out here. I don't want to rotate this to force this to fit. I will size this to 3.5. It's a little bit smaller. I think it's okay. And if I also mirror this, I could do, meaning if I set this in the middle of the first UDIM, any work I do can be mirrored over. So that will save me time. In order to make sure it's actually doing that, I'll snap my pivot to this point, and then I'll snap it to the grid, which is over here. And then these guys, I don't know. I'll just shove them together and just play like quick Tetris. Okay. Just throw this up here. So 2 UDIMs, not bad. Save.
I'm looking at this this thing for the motion capture because we're about to start doing our mocap, and one of our the a Windows suit, the XN suit that we have is really kick ass, but it's their licensing just doesn't make sense. It's so expensive. Um, so you buy the suit for $5,000, but then if you want to buy it, you want to use it, you have to pay $10,000 a year, and that's just so stupid, right? That's like charging $10 to go to the movies and then $100 for popcorn. It's just so dumb. And so I'm just looking at this company called Move AI, which is basically all optical with like iPhones or GoPros, and quality looks pretty impressive.
Do you want to show that?
I could show that, yeah. And let me share the screen.
So the Accent suit costs how much again?
It costs, so it's $4,500
For the
for.
suit.
So this is all the stuff that makes no sense. So it costs $10,000. It's so dumb. It costs $10,000 per year for the license. Okay. Now they'll give you a discount 2 times, but after that you have to pay $10,000. Now every time you buy the suit, which is $4,500, you get 6 months of the software for free. So it literally costs less to buy 2 suits and get 6 months for free on each one than it is to just pay for the software.
So then you can just get a bunch of suits.
So then you just buy a suit every 6 months and you're good.
Okay.
It's so stupid. It'll literally cost the same amount of money. So one is all this crazy complex hardware, actual physical suits and all this stuff, and then the other one is just giving you a software update. It's so crazy. But anyway, this here is this company called Move AI that it's all optical, so you don't even have to put markers or anything. it just figures it out by looking at your at you moving. So you could see the fingers and all that stuff. I wonder how much cleanup is actually on here. You know, the stuff that scares me about this stuff is like, how much do you have to process this afterwards? Because I like to know that the moment, the day you leave the stage, that you got it. I don't like the idea of going home, pressing process, and then realizing you totally didn't get it.
Yeah, because like every time you do a shoot or something like that, it costs you money.
Yeah.
You have to bring in performers and stuff, and then not being able to check your work is like, whoa.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's the case, just for
Yeah,
the record. I don't know. But this is the version that is completely without the sensors or the suit.
and how much is that version?
I don't know, but it's just software based. I'm not sure. Like they say, the pricing. You know, when it says try for free, that's also scary because it's like a crack dealer. Come here, little boy. It's free the first time. So
Yes, how that is how it is, huh?
yeah. So who knows? But $10,000 a year for a license, and the thing that just I
That's
just
just like
confuses the crap out of me
way
is
high.
they're trying to go after like indie creators. So
But they don't have most of them will not spend $10,000 on a suit.
let me pull it up and I'll show you. So where is it? It's so entertainment. Okay. So you could see the suit is $4,500. We paid more for it. We paid almost 10,000 for the suit, didn't we? Was it
Yeah,
didn't
it was not. It was not that. We paid way more. So like
and then the gloves were like 5,000. So that is a good price.
the gloves were a bad design too.
The problem with this is like these things would be selling so much if they weren't so greedy with the software. Like that price, I know that that's what kept us from buying it years before because you're like, my God, I'm not going to pay $10,000 for a license when you're paying $4,500 for the suit. So, yeah. So, amazing thing, but they really need to overthink. They need to think this, not overthink it because clearly they haven't thought about it at all, but they have to think about
Their
their
strategy behind.
strategy because I don't know any single person that would buy this that is indie if they knew they had to pay $10,000 a year for the software.
No, that's way too much money, and you don't need it. That I think that's the thing. Like you don't need it all year round. If you're an indie creator, like if you're a big studio, you're probably using it all the time because you have um, money coming in, like
Yeah,
like a lot more money coming in.
which leads to the other thing that I find annoying. So, okay, maybe you don't need it all the time. So they have this thing where they go, "Oh, you just pay per month and you pay $300 a month for it." You know what? That's fair. I'm like, that's completely fair. $300 a month, you need it for your shoot. Even $500, I'd be like, okay, that's fair. The problem is they don't give you the whole software. They give you this thing where you have to upload all your data. It gets processed on the internet, and then you have to re-download it again. Again, why do that? Like you already have the capability of processing it. Just let them process it locally so they could see if the data works, use it, and then the license is over. Now you can process it locally. That's fine. But to have to upload gigs of data just to download it again, this company, it's great, but they need to fix their
Well,
shit.
yeah, it's like you're not really thinking about it. Like you're giving a cheaper option, but you're missing the most critical part.
Yeah,
Because then now, like you said, if you can't check it or anything like that, or you can't process it, what do you don't even know what you have.
yeah. Chatty on fire. What's up? Um, yeah, even Bobby. No, he's like, "What's up, Chatty?" Everyone's saying hi to Chatty. So yeah, so here's another thing that we've been doing, which is pretty cool. So on Voice in the Hollow, we did not have any kind of complex interface for the faces, but you can see here we have. Take a look at this trend because you actually haven't even seen this.
I'm looking.
So you could see we have caught here,
Oh, that's pretty
and
cool.
you can just come over here and control all of this stuff. So if I select this, I could scale it, open it.
Who set all that up?
Dominic.
That looks great.
It's a Gnomon student. Was a Gnomon student. Is now professional living in Miami. So look at that.
That is nice.
Hey, hey, handsome. So there you.
Do some extreme stuff. So these are all Chris's shapes plugged in.
They're all Chris's shapes plugged into an interface, and the reason why I wanted this is
The animators didn't have that.
the animators didn't have this, so they're like trying to figure out what the hell each control does. Whereas this here, it's all in a nice package. It's easier for them to work.
Yeah. Well, and we were at the end of the pipe. And the problem is when you had animators just doing whatever, they didn't have like set expressions. So everyone had different, like the same character had like different smile, which is really weird. It's just like no one, everyone has like their own signature expression. And then all that, those faces had to go back to shot modeling. But with this system, caught smile will always be caught smile.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, close though.
But it's still just the same controls. What do you mean by it would be the same?
Well, no, I mean like some of it was really overcranked though. Like some of their brows were being on Koa.
Oh, I see that
Was being
they can't take it past. Well,
yeah,
they could always go in and try to break it, but yes, yeah,
but
yeah,
they
yeah. I see what
shouldn't.
you're
They
saying.
shouldn't try to break it. Like
Yeah.
Koa's face became not Koa at some point. It looked like a different character.
But like, look at that. That's pretty cool. Also, we have some stuff going on there. But this kind of stuff where this shape we might never hit, but yeah, it's very cool. So really happy with that.
Yeah, that's good.
Like how funny he looks.
That's like very cool to look at.
Yeah,
He looks so weird without his clothes. Every time I look at him and he doesn't have any, I don't know, any clothes on, I'm like,
well, there he
is this character okay?
Yeah, I mean they look terrible without the clothing,
They look very odd.
but with the clothing on, they look amazing.
Yeah, they're like, it's really weird. Like, these characters are so dependent on their accessories to kind of look like anything.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like it. Yeah. So that's the other side of. So the thing that I've been working on now is certain Mayo in particular. He has these gecko eyes, so when he looks around, the sphere almost has to distort. So Mayo's eyeball itself, we're just keeping it solid black, right?
No, he doesn't have solid black eyes.
So he has like an iris in the whole thing.
He's got depth. They don't have painted eyes. They have eyes with depth. Like
Okay.
if you pull up Shrag, he's got like blue eyes.
No, I know Shrag does, but Mayo's very particular because
oh Mayo. Well, Mayo's just black.
That's why I said Mayo.
I thought you meant
Yeah.
caught.
No,
yeah,
no.
because they're
No, Mayo. So the problem is because his eyes move like a gecko, the sphere has to distort.
yeah.
Like Mayo, his eyeballs rotate, but more than anything, the entire eye moves. He's so weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if he did have an iris, it would become problematic because it could start distorting.
Yeah. No,
So-
it would not work if the easiest solution for him is just like you said, just a black solid eye.
Look how cool. So he has that, and then you could close his mouth with this. So this is like mouth closed with jaw open. Isn't that awesome?
It's he looks cute. I think he's cute. The teeth went through like multiple versions on these. So for those who are looking, like this is teeth version 3 or something like that.
Yeah, and he looks adorable.
That's a cute face.
So this stuff here would, it would be reacting to the.
Yeah, that would be reacting in the claw simulation. So like the clothing there is like not um, fully like skin, just enough to see like the performance because it will be simulated.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to frame shots with him naked because, as we say, he looks very weird.
Yeah. So Bobby says, nice rig. It looks fun to animate. Every time, I'm not an animator, but every time I open up a rig that it looks like this, I always think the same thing. I'm like, oh, this actually looks like fun. And
It
that's
does look
his
like
jaw.
it could be fun.
Isn't that adorable? Look how cute he looks
Can you
there.
give him a smile? Did you do the smile expression earlier?
Let me see.
Let's try and figure it out. I like how that. He is kind of cute.
He's super cute. Look at this little guy.
Yeah, he does have a cute face. It's pretty cute.
But you're right. You totally need that costume. You take this off, and now he looks like this super
What's with his-
stupid like emoji face.
He looks so bad. Yeah, I don't know, but again, it's good to see it. But a lot of times I'm looking at him without his clothes on, and I'm like, did we kind of screw him up? But no, once he's
No, he looks awesome.
he looks good. He can never have, he can never be missing his clothes. That's for sure, because it will just look wrong.
What about his sexy scene? There is no sexy scene.
No. It's funny. Like this story is super like. It's a story of friendship, and it's like really really platonic, right? It's like true to me, like the pure form of like friendship between our main characters, Cotton Mayo. They are best friends. They're like brothers, and they would do anything for each other. So it's like very sweet on that level. And then these characters in this world, they don't have parents because they're all born from just a fabric egg, and then just a crystal is put inside this egg, and then they just hatch. So, and then the egg is made by a queen, and the queen weaves it. So she's not like even birthing them. It's like almost like a stork story. You know how kids learn about like, I never learned this though, but apparently kids learn about birth by learning about the stork, right? How the stork just like brings the baby to the parents. It's like that innocent, but then all of a sudden there's like this intense. There are like really intense things that happen though in the story that is like really completely far away from the innocence.
I remember when I was a kid, one day my sister came up to me. She's like, I'm going to show you something, but you can never tell our parents that I showed this to you. And I was like, what is this? Right. And she gives me this like kids book it was called like How Babies Are Made or Where Babies Come. That was what it was called, Where Babies Come From. And it was the most beyond rated G thing you could ever imagine. But you saw the husband and the wife laying side by side, like the most prude thing, like 12 inches between them in a bed, right? And there was like a heart shape above them. And then next thing you know, there was a baby, right? In the next page. And I was like, oh my God, what is this blasphemous book, right? It was so innocent and so cute.
Yeah. So, that's these characters, but then the enemies that they face are like extremely, I guess the word would be violent, huh? They're
Yeah.
like super intense. Like their life is at stake, and these moths just like want to eat these guys, and they seriously want to eat them. And we don't shy away from the fact that they want to eat them and tear them up. So,
Yeah.
but
Which is the real life, right? Like it's like if cute little kids, if they were living out in the savannah with lions and stuff like that, that's all it really is,
yeah, okay,
isn't it? Like it's just people and there's predators.
yeah, that's true.
Like I love watching those like National Geographic things, and when you see like these adorable baby, um antelope, I guess, getting killed by leopards or whatever, you're just like, oh man, can't you just let that one go? He's so cute. It's just it's not personal. I'm hungry. You may be cute, but I'm eating you. That's
Yeah.
all it is. The moths are not bad. They're just they eat need to eat fabric, and threadlings happen to taste the best.
Well, it's not just that they need to eat them, right? That's like like if you go really deep, and we don't talk too deep about this because there's not a lot of time, but like moths are moths need moths themselves, full grown moths don't eat the fabric. It's their babies, right? So it's a way for them to like be able to breed and reproduce.
Yeah,
So uh yeah, without giving away too much.
yeah.
But all that logic is actually there, um, underlying it in our story. So it's pretty dark.
Look how cute he looks.
Yeah, he is cute.
Poor little guy. We're gonna make him go through hell.
Yep, he's going to go through a lot of stuff. But yeah, I have on my end the windows.
Do you want to show?
Uh, yeah, give me 1 second. There. So what I'm doing now, I did a bunch of boring stuff, and then what I did here is I just brought this into Substance, and I just baked the mesh maps. Um, Alexa,
Hold on 1 second.
for no
Not
reason.
only did it start playing music, it started playing The Cure for no reason whatsoever.
Okay, let's go material view. Okay, so now I have this. I forgot to import Windows, meaning like the frame of it, because I kind of need to see what it looks like other than just this. But I'll save this. And then what I can do um, when I go to re-import it is just select this mesh. This mesh is combined and it's really heavy. So this is one of those times where I'm just going to delete it. If I had split, this is where Maya would crash. So I have this whole mesh combined that's really heavy, and I just want like this gray and just a frame, just so I can see what the windows look like. If I tell Maya to separate this mesh, it would just crash. It would just like poop out, or it'll take like an hour to do. Right, so that's really frustrating. But I do have a version of it saved. And then again, this is where I lose my time.
Cod is like a dress up. Cod is like a dress up hairless puppy. That's from Netbug. Yeah, he's a little guy.
Okay. Oh, that's also one mesh. Let's import that again. Please be multiple meshes. All right, this one's, there's multiple meshes here. Delete this. And all this heavy stuff. And then what I'm going to do is put this as one material. and I'll call this material like no texture so that I know that it's not supposed to be textured. And then when I go to export, I'll just select these meshes right here. And I'm going to rename this to old. So I have my backup. So this is going to replace the mesh. It has the same name as the one inside Substance. And then that makes it easier to re-import. I did save because you can mess this up. And you just go to edit, re-import mesh. And it will just add new things. So it's good. And I'll come in here and I'll hide these other meshes. The one thing I wish Substance would do is just kind of remember this.
What do you mean by remember it?
Like it doesn't remember what I have visible or not. So then I don't know, like every time I open this up, I have to turn this all back off and I have a lot of pieces and it just takes a ton of time. Okay, cool. So now I have this and it did not transfer this correctly. Okay, I know what happened.
What happened?
It did a texture bleed on the bake. So when I brought them back in, it expanded beyond because of the way I baked it out. So I can try rebaking this. This is such a backwards way of doing this.
Netbug is asking, what was the ACES workflow like in Substance before it got directly implemented? You just had to take a lot of more steps.
What was it like? You'd have to connect a lot, and it never really looked like
Substance, like
like
Unreal.
like Aces. It still doesn't, anyway. So it's like, okay, I guess that's fine.
Is it time for us to go ACES?
We are using Aces.
No, but I mean, in our render.
Oh, you mean like in like V-Ray?
In Unreal.
Isn't it just Aces? Oh no, it's not. We're getting at what? I don't know what we're getting. I'm not sure about things like color space at all in Unreal, like the way, it's like really obvious in the regular film pipeline. I don't know if they know either. I'm sure they're doing something, but it's not very clear to me. Let me rebake these mesh maps and see how it goes. I think it's working out better. I'm not sure. But yeah, so like if I use Aces in Substance, it doesn't look like Aces in V-Ray. It doesn't even look like whatever's inside Unreal. Like nothing really looks the same. I know that there's tutorials going, do this, and it makes it the same. And it's like, it's not really. It still feels very different to me. And I think in part it's because Aces has versions, right? So like if you open Substance and you set your color space, you'd be like, want to use Aces version 1.1, 1.2, and then there's 1.3 in beta. And then I don't know what Maya's using. They're using whatever their version. So everyone has a slightly different thing. So it's just going to look different. And it's fine because you can just color correct it. So let's watch this finish baking. And hopefully I did not screw this up. I can't really tell if I screwed it up until it's done. Let's see. Any thoughts, Miguel?
Give me 1 second. Luma is writing to me.
I'll just wait for this to finish.
I think all the stuff you're showing is awesome, and I think when it bugs out like this, it's perfect because you're showing the workflows.
Well, I kind of did something really maybe stupid and a little bit backwards. So if you give, and I have to figure this out. So if you look at this mesh right here, it has all these like colors and stuff.
One second. One second.
Is your computer just
My computer
crashing?
just got weirded out.
Okay. So I have all these like, and if you have all these different colors, when you bring it into Substance, it splits it up into a bunch of pieces. So then I imported the same thing again, except just gray version. And then I'm bringing it in thinking that that's going to work.
Does the sound still sound good?
I can't tell. I think James said yes.
Okay, did he just say that?
I don't know. Okay, let's return to painting mode. And let's see what happened.
Okay.
No, it's still doing it. Okay. It's still padded. This thing. It looks like it did a bunch of crazy stuff. What is this? I can live with whatever this is. Okay, let's just turn off AO. Okay, that looks better. We'll have some kind of color now. And then some uncolored areas. Let's hide all these other meshes. And what I mean, like, I have to recollapse these. Maybe there's a shortcut, but it does get kind of annoying. Let's come back here. And then this color map, if we just isolate that, it's like this. And then all these gray areas baked a little bit weird. So I'm not sure what happened here. Maybe what I can do is create a mask. And this is where like I kind of wish, I just wish I had Mari sometimes. Or like a more node graph that I could split this stuff up more easily. Because I find it really hard to actually color correct in here. So maybe if I pull this in here, I'm just trying to figure out what is what. I can try. I don't know if color selection works. Maybe. Let's add a filter. What was in here? Okay, let's come back here. I think it has to be. I'm trying to use this tool. And I've never used it before. So this tool here I'm trying to use is usually grayed out, and it's actually a filter called color selection. And this is supposed to help me pick selections. It's just kind of weird, but it does seem to work, which is good. So now I have this color. And I'll just lay this on top. And I'll just put some kind of base color in here because it's kind of throwing me off. We'll make this like a dark color like this. That way I can actually just see what this looks like. And then this red, it actually looks kind of cool, but I know that we don't want too much color. So I'll just color pick.
I mean, there is something cool about making a lot of those things look kind of blue and then only having a single red diamond, because then that could represent Zor on each one.
So maybe not this one because it has too much of a selection. But we can do something like this. And then here, let's get rid of this. I'm going to create a blank layer and get rid of all these other ones that didn't work out. And this bottom will be called blank. I always put like a blank random fill just because you don't want any transparencies. We'll save this. There's also another bug sometimes when you try to save your file that it just doesn't save. And then you keep working and then not realize it's not saving. That's happened a few times, which is pretty bad. I'll come back here and I want to give this breakup. So the windows are really just flat colors. What I'll do is just try to lay some kind of texture in the color. And normally I'll always start with like a crazy color like red because I'll know what the pattern is actually doing. And I'm going to mask it out so we don't see it. And I'll drop a fill in here and then I'll look for just some kind of procedural. I feel like stained glass kind of looks like marbly sometimes. So I can type marble and see what I get and just try to overlay different types of surfaces, maybe this one. And I'll just tile it up. Okay. And so I get an idea of what this pattern is doing. I don't want obviously red. I think I'm just going to maybe use it as a multiply. So now we have a little bit of breakup. And I can adjust a pattern here. Maybe something a little bit more broad. You know, if you look at this here, none of these colors are super solid. I'm sure there's like things like a little bit of stain or whatever. But this is going to be an emissive texture, so it's just going to emit the color of this light. And I think the other thing maybe to do on this is maybe to saturate this a little bit. So I'll throw a filter on this and just put like HSL and just desaturate it so that the colors are much more subtle. And it's kind of bluish, which I kind of like. And then maybe we'll do one that is red. I was going to color pick red, but that doesn't make any sense. And I'll add a black mask. I'll add a paint. And then this time what I'll do is I'll just use the polyfill. So this will come in handy based on how I modeled it. Do you think, Miguel, like how much red? Can you take a look?
Very little.
Like that one?
Just that. That's it.
How about up here? One?
Yeah,
One here?
that's right.
One here?
That's right. Yeah.
How about this one? None?
No.
How about up here?
No.
No?
No, because now it doesn't read like the whole thing is that it has to be the single crystal.
I see. So like the diamond shape.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll have red. I'll throw this one over here. I'll call this marble breakup because it's a marble breakup pattern. It is pretty simple. I think that's okay. Let's do another breakup. I'll duplicate this and maybe this one will just be like a white breakup and I'll just throw in like a different pattern, like something very different like that. And then instead of multiplying, this will screen. Or let's try overlay. Overlay usually inherits the color underneath, whereas screen can really wipe it out. And so we'll have something like that. And now it feels more broken up. Maybe I'll duplicate this. And under this duplicate, I'll just kind of rotate it. And then that's overlaying that. But if I set this to screen, it would just add it up. And then this way, we just have more, more complexity. Anything that's really flat always looks really CG. So something like this. Okay, cool. I'll save this and I'll just export this. And I only need the color. And I have a bunch of all these other ones. So all these other ones here were like the separate colors. And I threw it onto one mesh at the end. And we'll just get the color map. And we've been using JPEGs, which is like kind of bad, but the file sizes are really tiny for JPEGs. Normally we use things like TIFF, but like a TIFF at 4K can be like 50 megabytes, and the JPEG is like 3 megabytes. And that just really adds up. Not for me, it's not the file size that bothers me. It's really the performance that really starts to take a hit. Like if you make Unreal load way too many textures, it's not going to like it. Okay. And that's what we're doing, like a lot of is just the UVs being shared, right? So like most things are only texture, like one part of it, right? Like this is the same exact UVs as that one, so they all look the same. That way we're also saving on texture space. So our geometry is like crazy and we're not optimizing our geometry, but we optimize our textures.
The geometry is being optimized just on the back end inside of Unreal. It's just so good at handling. You know what I wonder?
Well, Unreal is doing all the optimizing.
Yeah, but what I wonder is, so it's converting it to nanite. Is it still? I mean, I know the answer is yes, but is it still holding the original mesh in a file somewhere that it could access if it needed to? Do you see what I'm saying? Like in ZBrush, you convert it to Dynamesh and you press save, not to Dynamesh, to a decimation. You press save, you lost it, right? It's now just decimated.
Oh, you mean like I don't think so. You know why I don't think so? Because I've watched people work and their workflow tends to be like they will drop an FBX file into the project. And then one of it was like waiting for Unreal to detect new FBX or telling it to convert that FBX. So a lot of people will save like the original non-nanite version into the project, and we're not doing that because the project size would be really massive. So like, I don't know if I said this earlier, but Voice in the Hollow was like a terabyte, just the
Yeah,
Unreal.
we were talking about that
Yeah,
earlier. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, I was working while doing that, so I get so spaced out. I don't remember what I said. But yeah, and then just imagine adding all this other stuff in. What I'm doing now is I'm just adding the windows. So I separated. This is like the window here. Let's just load this. I should close Substance because they do not play well together right now. Both really heavy in GPU, and Substance takes a while to close. Okay, I'll just risk it. I'm gonna hope that it closes. So that's the window wall, and it doesn't have the glass in it. So the glass is separate so that it gives us more control for some certain lighting settings. And I'll just drop this in here. And this should import like super fast because it's super low res. Let's import that. That was quick. The one thing, oh crap. I did not set up the material. Okay, so let's do this again. I will give this a new material name. This will be Lambert. This will be H window B glass underscore MTL. And then this name, what I've been doing is I have all my shader names that are set up like this. It's kind of intense. I'll add this here. Call this 8B window glass B. And then I'll have that material name so that it's very precise. So just so I'm super organized, I'll re-export this. And I won't replace it because I noticed that when I try to re-import mesh, it still retains like the old material assignments, which is what I don't want, since this is where I forgot to do this, right? Okay, so I'll just delete this. And then what I'll do first is grab a shader, like say from my window, and I don't know where that shader is. Let's find it. It's over here. And I'll create another folder. I'll put it in here. Yeah, let's put it in here. Trying to figure out which one it is. And we'll copy that. And then this one, I'll rename this. My F2 on my keyboard doesn't work very well. Okay. And it will have the wrong textures, but that's okay. It has the right type of shader. I'll just replace it. So this is a emissive material. So it's just fakes the glass. It's not actually real glass. And then I'll come back in here into the hallway and re-import that mesh. Let's save all. There's a comment here. If I was doing this project alone, I would not have the patience to UV stuff. I would just use aligned mats with mat IDs on them. Yeah, but you could, the thing is, I just think you got to do it. It does take a tremendous amount of patience, but it really saves a lot on texturing time. So a lot of the artists are working on it. I'm not even really texturing it that much at all. The artists doing it are able to work very quickly because there's like an assembly line system, and it allows them to work really fast. So one of the things, like just if I can try to explain this, let's save this as a version. What a mess. This file is a mess. Okay. Let me open something else. And we'll do it. Okay, let's do this one where it's still separate. Okay. So this is like huge, right? And it's one whole entire mesh here. And the thing that we've been doing is if you look at each quilted section on our textures, they're all like separate, right? So like this section would be one type of fabric, this one's another type. So basically where you see like these seam lines, they're all varying types of fabrics. They have different colors, they have different textiles. Some are really soft, some are more like linen, right? A little bit slightly more coarse or like even corduroy, right? So we have like a lot that has been set up as smart materials. And since it's one mesh, if you don't UV this a certain way, it would take a very long time to just paint mask out, like to mask all this out. The most of the work is actually masking it out, which is super time consuming. So more hours are being spent painting a bunch of masks. Right now, what I did in the UVs, which was pretty painful, was that I actually have cut all the UVs based on each quilt. And you can see the border. So everywhere it's white, right? And then this is really nice because in Substance, you can polyfill. So you can just click on this and it will fill it with whatever texture you want. So you can mask these out super fast. And then you can see how it's selecting this side. It's because it's instance right now. But they're all mirrored over. So they're only texturing half of everything. Um, like this one here is half, right, of this one. This just has additional pieces. And this one, they share the same UVs, just this one's inverted. They have different materials, so it allows us to adjust any issues we might have because the textures are inverted. You can see they're red. But they're only texturing just this one piece. And even on this one here, it's just the center column, just a little tiny part instead of the whole thing. And again, you can only texture this fast if you have your UV super planned out. So if this was just UV just traditionally or whatever, I don't know, it would take so long to texture one piece. We wouldn't be as done as we are now. But I will say the UV time is less time than the texturing time, right? So like the UV time sucks, but it's still way faster than making everyone paint all these like ridiculous masks, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'll come in here. So like all the artists that we have right now are moving so quick because they're only texturing at most half of every asset and the other side's being duplicated and they're saving a lot of time on their masking. Let me just fix this here. And then that's what like I've been spending my time on, right? So like some of it is very invisible. Like I laid out the UVs for this, this one, and that took me a whole day to do 2 of these. But now the texturing time is, cut to maybe 20% or even less, maybe even 10%. Like that's how much time we're saving. I'm going to place these windows in here. You want to say something?
No, I want to see what they look like.
Yeah, I just need to find it. It doesn't have the texture yet, so it's going to look really weird. And then I'll pop the textures on. You can see like there's a lot of assets. Okay, so I have this here. I don't know where it went. Where is it? I think it's because it's not double-sided that I can't find it. Oh, it's right here. And my computer is chugging really hard. Okay. Now, what I want to do is copy these settings, like the location settings, and paste it here. All right, cool. And then I'm going to name this. So that's going to help. And then I'll save. And then we'll replace these really weird textures. So I actually didn't even import them in yet. So I have a texture folder, texture this, all these like subfolders. It's kind of intense. Okay, here we'll drop in that one map. That's the one thing that's nice with the emissive windows. You don't need a lot. You just need one color map. And let me find where I actually export this to. Because it's a lot to dig up. Okay, so I'll drop the color in here. And this has UDIMs. And I'll just pop this into the shader, which is pretty basic. So this is a window shader. It just, again, is really primarily driven by emission. And that's how it looks. What do you think?
I love it.
So the colors really, they do something, but they're pretty subtle.
Yeah, but you know that red just being subtle like that just goes boom.
No, but the rest of it, like maybe I desaturate it too much.
I think that the red works totally. The other ones you barely see them. I think you could go a little bit darker on them.
Well, this
Damn,
is,
look at how much information is there.
yeah, this is the intensity of the emission. So it's at 1.
Yeah.
So it doesn't emit any light. And I have a multiplier here. I can also apply contrast. So maybe I'll just bring it back up. Like it was at 5, so it was like blowing out. So maybe at 2. And I could also set my contrast back to that. I don't know. I could also increase the saturation, which no.
I think increasing the saturation is a good thing.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It still doesn't look saturated.
So like
yeah,
around how much? Like this?
yeah.
So we'll do negative 0.35. And then there's also contrast, which I don't really like that. You don't think that's too saturated? Like how
No,
does that look?
I think it looks good.
I don't think it looks like it's glowing enough though.
No, it doesn't.
It needs to be like at 4.
Yeah, and that's where you see all of a sudden it's too saturated before, but now you see it like that and it's gone, but you still feel it.
Let me try that, lowering it even more. So it's to 0.5. Is that emissive enough? Is it glowing enough?
You can make it a little. You can make it a little brighter still.
So 5.
But yeah, it definitely reads like a window.
Oh, I'm stuck. Okay.
I mean, you could probably even push it a little more. The one on the other one next to it really feels like it's glowing.
Okay, this is at 26.
That's
Okay.
too much.
Yeah.
But you see how you could am I crazy? Like there's like blue being spilled onto the.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like literally cool.
Is this good enough like this? And then I could.
Yeah, I like. Can you pull up the saturation now again?
Yeah, there we
Like
are.
that, like that.
I can also tint it too. So if we don't like blue, it can be like, I can multiply a color.
I think blue is good.
You think so? But
Yeah.
let's try things. It's not really doing a lot. Oops, that's really terrible. Ooh.
We put a Prince soundtrack.
Never
do it.
mind. Let's just leave that color multiply off. And the normal, I don't know why there's a normal here. I'm just going to do a normal placeholder. That's just should be blue. All right, there we are. So there's no height. That works?
I love it.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is super manual. And then someone did say, like, there's a faster way to do this. And I'm like, how? Give me the tutorial.
Actually, it's 3.
What is?
So you could just I'm saying it's 3 o'clock.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock. All right, cool.
Just if you want to do it. But I'm just letting you know.
We'll just do like a couple windows.
Yeah, because we gotta do a bunch of stuff today.
I don't know where this window went. Whoa. Copy this. I don't think I pasted it right. Nope. So what I had outside before are these like really, are these cubes. And that was the white. So I'm going to get rid of these. They are kind of crazy outside. They blow everything out. So the windows are actually empty. And they're just these guys. And the reason why I have them separate is just to change the mesh to allow light to come through. So right now, you actually see like the light cast coming in. And I'll just wrap this up. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to copy this setting.
You know what? I actually like that blue because it's spilling that blue light onto the hallway, and it kind of looks kick-ass. I don't think you should put it on all the windows though.
What? The blue? You mean
Oh, that looks really good. No, never mind.
So if you notice here, you see the mesh is not allowing light to pass through.
Yeah.
What you can do is if you go into the mesh, and this is why it's a separate mesh, you can search shadow and you can turn on shadow indirect only, and it will allow that in. And I know that the light is not the same color, but it might be okay. I don't know. I don't really want to do global.
No, 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 no.
We're just gonna pretend.
Yeah, that's enough. I think the Gobles, that goes back to the whole tie-dye thing. It starts getting overwhelming, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we're not able to get light to pass through this correctly. And that we did do experiments earlier where we tried translucent materials and all this other weird stuff, and it was like not working out. But maybe, maybe we'll worry about it if we need it for a particular shot. But right now we'll just be like, yeah, it's okay. The stained glass doesn't work. But it looks, you're not always going to stare at that light anyway, right?
Yeah.
But I think this looks much nicer. Yeah, that's much better. And I think that's it. So it was productive for me. Thanks for hanging out. I don't think this was the most exciting.
Today we had probably one of the lowest turnouts, but we have the same gang. We got the Bobby, the Chatty, and Netbug. There are only 3 friends.
Yeah, but you saw me making it, so you got to see how this window was made. Pretty low tech.
Maybe just people didn't talk much.
Yeah,
We
but
have Zamo and Solus, but Bobby, Chatty, and Netbug are the
well, Bobby's like here all the time for sure.
yeah.
Thanks for joining us. So I think it looks better. I think these windows make a difference. I think if we're worried about the gobo, what we'll do is just desaturate it and let's just allow light to go through. And then we'll call it done.
Bobby says he's a true believer. You know what? When we get Threadling shirts, I'm gonna ask you guys, you 3 in particular, for your addresses. I'm gonna send you guys some Threadling stuff.
Yeah, we want to do that. And yeah, if we're missing anyone, we're sorry.
Ty is also always on here, but he's not in here today.
Yeah.
I gotta reply to his message, by the way.
Okay, so I think that's it. So we're done. This was maybe boring for anyone else, but this is how it is, and I feel accomplished. I got a window in, and I got a pipeline that works.
Ruben says he's been catching up. He's in episode 14.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, guys. So that's it for today. Yeah, that's it. I think next week, next Friday is our last one for the year, and then we're gonna be back early January. So anyway, guys, thanks again. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Facebook. And we appreciate everybody being here and participating. And Solus, thank you. And thank you guys again. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Thanks again. And we are out of here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.